Well, they purposely planned that in the middle of two speakers.
Noisemakers.
They purposely planned that in the middle of two speakers, though.
You're talking about Wisconsin?
Yes. That's where I'm from. But you said go to hell to all the protesters, so I say go to hell.
Ones that were buzzing and trying to make it so that we couldn't be heard. It wouldn't dawn on me, and I live at UCLA where anti-war protests were, to go there and use those noisemakers from the World Cup to drown you, but to drown you out.
Well, they use those all day long. I mean, they use those all day long whether you're there or not. I don't know if you know that.
Fuck off to anyone that's going to try and shut me up when I'm trying to say what I believe.
Well, I mean, and I felt the same way when the Tea Party shouted down Congress. So, on healthcare reform or Obamacare, as you call it, I don't care what you call it, but the Tea Party went into Congress and shouted down Congress. I felt the same way.
What did they do that was wrong?
Well, they shouted them down. They shouted my people down. And so if we shout down your people, how's that any different?
Shouting them down. We were at the bar.
I mean, they did the same thing we did to you.
Shout them down.
They did the same thing we did to you.
Conservatives.
They shouted while they were speaking so that they couldn't be heard.
Person goes after a woman in a hijab and says, I give him up. I'm working with Breitbart. He told me, like, to what benefit to my enterprise is a guy attacking a woman wearing a hijab versus women?
It's not. And you know, the thing about it is, the video is online somewhere, but if you actually look at it, he picks up his phone and he says, hey, Andrew Breitbart?
All freedom all the time.
Yeah, so I'm working with Pat Ruffini.
Just take it. I hate sustained
So, you said you were all freedom all the time, so you agree with the First Amendment, correct?
What?
You agree with the First Amendment regardless of which side is using it, correct?
I created love and imposed.
Okay, so do you agree with the fact that they're removing protesters for silently holding the Constitution? No, so people in Wisconsin are getting...
What's up with this?
I use it for heart condition.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people in Wisconsin are getting literally arrested for silently holding constitutions in meetings. Do you agree with that?
Do I agree? Say it again.
People are getting arrested for silently holding constitutions in meetings.
Holding constitutions?
Yeah, like replicas of the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution.
They're getting arrested for holding them?
Yes. Do you agree with that?
Seems silly.
All right, thank you. And on that we can agree. No matter which side it's on. You know, both sides should be able to voice their opinion.
I'd like to find a little carving ground where we can cut their testicles off and fry them while they're alive and make them in pure pain, but they have every right to do what they do. I need to figure out something.
Hey, that's where we can agree.
Yeah.
That's where we can agree.
I want to stick cacti up their asses.
We can agree on that one. And you know what? The thing is, what happened that they were on
They're not on the right.
What?
They're freaks.
What's the Segway?
Yeah.
I have heart condition.
Oh, so
What is your heart condition?
It's long QT syndrome.
What?
Long QT syndrome. I actually carry a defibrillator with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've survived 5 cardiac arrests, more than anyone in history. I've also
had what?
5 cardiac arrests. I've also had bone cancer and lung cancer.
Oh, sorry.
I've survived all 4 of those. And so I also have part of my heart condition is periodic paralysis. It's long QT syndrome 7, and so I have to deal with the cardiac arrest, the arrhythmias, and the periodic paralysis. So Segway allows me to get around.
So can you go in like the basement, like the net protection? Like can you go on
About 2 years ago, I wrote a race.
Can I go on what?
escalators?
Well,
I can. It takes a little skill.
That's great. I'm scared of the down ones. What happens if I'm the down ones?
Hey, I ride it in handcuffs with no handlebar.
Cool. So, hi.
My name is Skip Murphy.
Hi, Skip. I'm Nicole.
Nice to meet you. And you are?
Jeremy Ryan.
Nice to meet you.
Skip Murphy.
What?
And I'm sorry, you're Michael Rogers.
Yep.
And of course, you're the guy who likes to dress up like a pimp. I see you're in regular street clothes tonight. Yeah?
Well, but at least he doesn't tweak himself out.
What you see is a gentleman more mature for his years than most kids in their 30s. But that's
More
beside-
mature?
Oh, without
Okay,
a
let me
doubt.
ask. Can I ask you what you were doing at Mary Landry's office?
Trying to get to the truth.
Trying to get to the truth. In what way? By tapping her phones?
Are you defaming me?
No, I'm asking you a question.
You don't have your facts straight.
I'm asking you a question. So you said you were trying to get at the truth. So how were you trying to get at
Well,
the
the
truth?
government has already said that there was no tampering with phones.
Okay, so
So you're contradicting what the government says.
I'm asking you.
No,
I'm asking you a question.
I'm answering.
Okay.
There was no tampering with phones.
So what were you doing with the phones?
You can go online and look at the government's factual
But you're
basis.
standing in front of me, or sitting in front of me, so I'm asking you.
You came down to have a discussion with me.
You asked me to sit down, so I asked you what you were doing at Mary Landry's office that day.
Last time I knew, a discussion is not a badgering.
I'm not badgering, I'm asking you a question and you're telling me I'm accusing you of something. I'm not accusing you.
You just said I tampered with phones.
I asked you what you were doing at Mary Landry's office, and you said I was trying to get at the truth, and I'm asking you how.
We went into the office posing this telephone repairman. We were attempting to get to the truth about what happened to her phones and to see whether or not she shut the phones down. And I was arrested and eventually charged with misdemeanor
Okay,
for entering federal property with false pretenses.
that makes sense. Do you agree with that?
But guilty to misdemeanor.
So, and I understand, so you got dispensation to leave New Jersey to come here, but you're not allowed to leave New Jersey for why?
Well, we seem to have a judge who acts on a whim here. We're talking about a minor misdemeanor. Which
Wait, entering a U.S. Senator's office and under false pretenses pretending to be a phone company employee and that's a minor misdemeanor?
Well, it is a misdemeanor. It is a
Wow.
misdemeanor.
So if I went into, say, I don't know, Senator Vitter's office and posing as something else, and went in there and said I'm a telephone repair
like
person.
a Koch brother, for example?
Yeah, well, I didn't do that. But I don't think anybody went into anybody's office posing as a Koch brother.
No.
But if I went into... excuse me.
here, sorry.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. That was funny. If I went into, say, Senator Vitter's
Why are you
office...
so angry?
I'm not. I'm trying to ask a
You're
question.
so angry. I'm trying to have a nice discussion.
Do I sound angry? Okay.
A little bit you do.
But the three of you, I'm trying to ask a question and you're like ganging up on me. Okay, if I went into, say, Senator Vitter's office, for example, posing as a telephone repair person, and was trying to get at some information, whatever it might be, you think that's only worth a misdemeanor charge?
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, okay.
If you went into this office, opened the door and walked in at 10:30 in the morning,
Yes?
don't you have a right to visit your senator in his office when the door is open? Can't constituents walk in
Yes,
now?
but not saying that I'm a telephone repair person and then go messing with his phone equipment.
I didn't mess with his phone.
What did you do with his phone?
The government said I did not mess with
Okay,
his
but
phone.
I'm not asking what the government said.
You
I'm
just
asking
said
what you...
I messed with his phone.
I didn't say... I'm asking you. I didn't say anything. I didn't accuse you. I want to come over here because I can't hear you.
Can I quote?
Sure, you can quote me. And I'm
just-
What
That may be why she's talking so loud.
I didn't say you did anything. I was asking you what you did with his phone.
I didn't do anything to the phones. There was nothing with the phones.
Okay. But what you said was the government said I didn't do it. I was asking you.
I said I went in there to have a conversation.
Okay. So did you ask to speak with Senator Landry?
We had a conversation in the office. It's in the government's factual basis. Nothing more than
Okay, let me ask you another question.
So let me ask you this. It seems to be a cross-examination. Can we ask some questions of you from the other side?
Let me get back to what I said earlier. When you accused the major of a misdemeanor wasn't the point.
You can ask questions of
The
me as
point
well,
is,
sorry.
there was a misdemeanor and a probation condition, but this is not normal for, under what's considered to be a relatively minor offence, for the subject of that offence to be restrained from carrying on their profession, to be on a whim allowed and then denied the ability to travel and carry on their profession.
Well, no. If you are on probation and part of the probation restrictions are that you can't leave your state, then you can't leave your state. But obviously you've got dispensation. So
if you AP gleefully reports the news, hey, he's allowed now, he's not allowed now, he's allowed now, he's not allowed now. Have you ever heard of judges changing the conditions of probation on a whim, the way that appears to be done to this
I don't know what the specifics of that are, and that's why I was asking you. So, so James, can I ask you another question?
Well, typically judges...
He wouldn't be here if it was...
I don't know anything about New Jersey, but I'll tell you in Wisconsin, typically what judges do is restrict everyone from in the state. And if the PO agrees, then they can leave on a case-by-case basis.
But he's not in Wisconsin.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're asking a justice question knowing that we're not from your state. That's what I'm saying, or his state, and so that's kind of shaded. I can only tell you from my state. So why ask a justice question if you expect an answer from a different state from me?
Well, you're trying to ask over something that's hypothetical from your state. It applies to Mr. O'Keefe, certainly.
Well, no, but he said, "Have you ever seen that?" And I see it all the time in Wisconsin. I was just telling you what happens in Wisconsin.
It seems to me that the judge and parole office may be out of some kind of paranoia that because he's a bit of a hot potato, their reputations would be sullied, are being more draconian than I would consider appropriate for the level.
You know something?
I want to talk to James. I don't know who you are, and I don't care.
All right, that's possible.
I'm talking to James.
That's possible. I mean, I'm not saying one thing or that. I don't know anything about New Jersey. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I know Chris Christie's been eating pretty good and starving everyone else, but I don't know anything else about New Jersey.
I'm asking you, were you dressed in that outfit?
I mean, that's all I really know about New Jersey.
I would say that
But